On Saturday, February 27th, voters in Manchester will gather virtually on Zoom to take part in an information meeting hosted by the town select board that will precede the annual town meeting voting and vote counting that will be happening on Tuesday, March 2nd. Voting on the articles of the town meeting and the candidates will be by Australian ballot. Drop them off at Town Hall or vote in person as usual. Town officials have proposed a town budget totaling about $5.979 million. There's a total of about $275,000 asked for in additional special articles. If voters approve the budget with all the articles, the town's municipal tax rate will rise by a little under 5% from the current level of a little over 27 cents per $100 of assessed property values to about 29.5 cents per $100 of assessed property value. That would still leave Manchester with one of the lowest tax rates for comparably sized towns in the state, and about 21st overall of all towns in the state. The proposed budget includes the lease or purchase of a new fire truck, not to exceed $400,000. It also asks the voters for permission to issue town bonds or notes to make improvements to the municipal water system. Town Manager John O'Keefe walked us through some of the features of the budget, which went through several changes along the way.
So the town meeting warning has a combined article for the tax rate, or for the budget, which is about 5.9 million, which is actually down compared to past years. But the tax rate will actually go up about 4.9% if town meeting approves all of the other different spending initiatives, including the voted appropriations. So right now, actually, if the budget was the only thing that passed, the tax rate would go down. But that seems unlikely, so I don't think I'd want to sort of base the tax rate discussion on that. So with everything assumed, and assuming no increase in the grand list, it'd be about 4.9% if everything was accepted. The budget is based on really the select board's philosophy that this year is not a good year for new initiatives and other things like that. So we've kept new initiatives to a real low number as far as different things. I can go into a little bit of detail, but overall, employee salaries are level funded. Salaries actually are up about 0.3% overall, just because of a bunch of different adjustments. But generally speaking, employee wages are the same as the previous year. Benefits are actually down, and every single department except for the fire department is actually down as well in spending. So new initiatives, not a lot. One is to increase the fire department equipment reserve fund from 75,000 to 100,000. And later in the warning, there's an article that authorizes the select board to lease purchase a new fire truck for the fire department based on that increased funding from $75,000 to $100,000. Local option sales tax numbers are down in the budget, which actually a decrease in revenue is basically like an increase in spending. So less revenue to support activities from that. And then there's a $50,000 shift for the Manchester Business Association from the Taxpayer Relief Reserve Fund to the general fund. So that also impacted the tax rate. And then the last big piece is an increase in debt service related to the bond that town meeting passed last year in 2020. Overwhelmingly passed that. I think it was 1,025 to 199 votes. So that clearly had a lot of support from town meeting, but it's also had an impact on the tax rate.
One of the special articles calls for the town to continue its $50,000 support for the Manchester Business Association, a local business group that works to market Manchester to outside visitors. The Select Board considered including this directly in the budget, but in the end opted to leave it as a special article. John Burnham, the executive director of the Manchester Business Association, described what they do.
So as we've done in the past, probably 3 to 4 years, we've gone to the town and asked for the $50,000 match. So in order to get that $50,000, we needed to have membership participation of Manchester-specific businesses up to 50,000 or more. We've achieved that goal every year, which is great. So far this year, the Manchester Business Association has raised more than $50,000 for this particular fiscal year for the town. So we've met that match, which is great. And we continue to do so, and we believe we did. We actually increased membership this year, and our kind of year runs from September 1st through August 31st, so it's really confusing. But we actually have 84 members. We saw about a 15% increase in membership even in this COVID-19 time. I think people who could afford to do so realize the value of having a marketing arm such as ours behind them, and the different avenues that we market our area, our businesses in the area, our community. I thought was really important. So that $50,000 that we get from the town helps defray the cost for Manchester businesses, actually. It helps us continue to be able to market this destination and town in the way that we do. We do monthly email blasts to our subscribers. We have our Instagram page with over 15,000 followers. We have Facebook with over 7,000 followers. We have, even, believe it or not, people still coming into the visitor center these days, which is great. A great asset for this town, this Welcome Center. Since we reopened in September, right at the beginning of Labor Day, after our COVID-19 shutdown back from March, we actually have seen over 3,000 people come through our visitor center here in town over the past 4 months. So, all of this is great assets for this town, this community. And I think the town truly understands that. And that's why they continue to offer that $50,000 grant. Of course, it's voted on by the town residents themselves. And I think they also see the value in what we do and our work that we perform.
The Manchester Community Library is also seeking about $243,000 in public support, roughly the same amount as last year. The library's executive director, J. Violet Gannon, gave us an overview.
As many of you know, we are so much more than a library. Even in the midst of a pandemic, we continue to serve as a connector of interests, opportunities, and people, a source for free resources and exciting programs, and perhaps most importantly this time, a trusted resource for accessing reliable information. This is a wonderful community and a place to call home, and I, along with the talented staff at the library, are most grateful for the generous support received from Manchester residents. Through individual gifts, fundraising, and grants, we're able to fund 75% of our budget. We hope we can count on you for the remaining 25%. Please support your public library, return your ballot, and vote yes on Article 10. Thank you.
Town meeting will start at 1 p.m. on February 27th as a Zoom meeting. Those attending will be able to review the articles that will be voted on the following Tuesday, March 2nd. Voting will take place between 8 a.m. and 7 p.m. at the Manchester Town Hall. And this year, the town report has been dedicated to Dr. Thomas Sterling, the town's Deputy Health Officer and designated point person for dealing with the issues presented by the COVID-19 pandemic over the past year. His picture will be on the cover, and town officials made the presentation in a brief ceremony outside of Manchester Medical Care, where he is the Chief Medical Officer. Greg Cutler, one of the members of the Manchester Select Board, read the dedication.
The 2020 town report is dedicated to our local healthcare workers, nurses, doctors, technicians, and medical assistants, public health officials. Epitomizing these dedicated healthcare workers is local physician Thomas Sterling, who also serves as the town's deputy health officer. Just like firefighters who rush into burning buildings while others are running in the opposite direction, while most of us were ordered to stay at home and socially distance, healthcare workers sacrificed like no other in the pandemic in 2020. Like warriors headed into battle, they donned layers of armor, in this case known as personal protective equipment, or PPE, including disposable masks, glasses, face shields, gowns, and gloves. They worked long hours around the clock and on weekends, slept in hallways and on sofas in lounges, scarfed down a slice of pizza, or donut between patient appointments and were fueled by high-octane coffee, all in the name of healthcare and public safety. So from us to you, Dr. Thomas Sterling, and the many other healthcare and public health workers, a million thanks.
Thank you so much.
And it's signed respectfully, the Select Board.
For the GNAT-TV News Project, I'm Andrew McKeever.